It's Scott Cullen, editor-in-chief of the Cannata Report. I'm here with Frank Cannata for the latest episode of Fridays with Frank. Frank, what's on your mind this week?
I would really like to discuss something that has been on my mind for some time, which was kind of brought home to me in a recent visit with somebody who had desired to engage us. Now, there's a term that we use in the industry, and it's not a pleasant term. It's called print for pay. You pay us, we'll say anything nice about you that we can think of, and encourage people, encourage dealers in our case, to get in touch with you, do something with you. To me, that is so offensive, I cannot begin to tell you. I mean, that is putting us, it's like saying, lay down and do for me whatever I want to do to you for money. And it's sad because the person that was doing it doesn't have enough money to even think about doing that to begin with. Now, I'm doing this for one very special reason. He told me he watches Fridays with Frank. So this message is really for him. But I'm going to tell you, in our discussion with him, not a presentation, but in our discussion with him, he must have mentioned ROI. I got to see an ROI. People that behave like that are a detriment to the industry. And it's unfortunate. He's indicating that other people who do something similar to us do it, and he gets his ROI, which is very sad indeed. But the one thing you can continue to count on us, we're going to tell you what we see, the way we see it, and we're not right all the time, but we're honest all the time. You get our honest opinions. And I can't think of a better way to serve the public than doing that. And in all honesty, we're fairly treated by everyone we do business with. We're proud of the client base that we have and the companies that we work with. And they're long-term relationships for one very simple reason. It's an element of trust. They trust us, we trust them. We don't look at the contract and say, well, no, we're not supposed to do that. If they need something that we can provide, we'll do it. That's the same thing a dealer does for any of his customers. His customer needs something that's not in the maintenance agreement, he's going to do it because he wants to keep the customer happy, and it makes good sense to do it. This is how you build sustainability. And when we talk about sustainability, as you well know, Scott, we're celebrating our 40th year publishing this year. We're a 43-year-old company, but 40 years publishing. 3 years after I started the business in 1979 as a consulting company, we started publishing what now is known as the Cannata Report. And I would like to think that we followed the guideline for me, or the vision I had when we started. There was a story that I was reading about the start of the Wall Street Journal. And the Wall Street Journal began publishing in 1948. In that era, and you may not be old enough to remember this, but I certainly am. The biggest thing that you could learn about was what the new cars looked like. And all the magazines had these big spreads as soon as they were released, because everybody wanted to see what the new Ford looked like, what the new Cadillac looked like, whatever the cars were. And there were cars there, LaSalle's in those days, Packards, whatever. And it was just because there were so many different car makers too at that time. At any rate, to make a long story short, one of their associates got all the pictures for releases of I'm not sure if it was all the manufacturers, but some of the manufacturers, and they were going to do a spread on it. This was before it was released. So they did the right thing. They contacted the automobile companies that they had the photos of and say that they were going to run them. Well, the automobile companies went nuts. And they said, you do that and we will never place an ad in the Wall Street Journal again. Now, in terms of advertising, which automobiles were huge then. I mean, it was not uncommon for them to take full page ads. And that would have meant everything to this fledgling newspaper. But they stuck to their guns. They didn't do it. And I said, that's what I would like. At the end of the day, people will say the Cannata Report was honest. That's my message, Scott, and hope our onlookers will agree with me. There's nothing wrong with being honest.